Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 6 of Touring the Londonverse. I'm your host ScottBGaming, and today we'll be looking at a little promotion called California Wrestling Organization. This will be a promotion that none of you are familiar with. I don't believe I covered it in my previous videos. What I've done is I've gone into the game, chosen James' avatar as the user character, set up the default settings of how his attributes are split, simmed up to when the first show is. I will note that the show is actually called Private World. I wanted to change that to West Coast Welcome. That will be done after this video is complete. Let's not waste any more time and get right into this. And of course the screen minimises, we'll get used to that, and it maximises back to full potential. Now if we go to the main hub of the promotion, we can see that I'm the owner. I've taken charge of that as I have in all the other videos in this series. The size is small, they're 30th, so similar in size level to Scottish Wrestling Champions who we saw a couple of episodes ago. Got $500,000 in the bank, so that's not bad. Prestige isn't great though by any stretch of the imagination. E-, momentum E+. As I said, the show is tonight. Usually their shows take place on the Sunday of week 4 of each month, but I moved this show forward so I could basically get to it quicker. I'll again change this after the video is completed. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the roster as per usual. And we start with a man known as #Ronnie C. Now you may recognise his cousin who we covered in the Showtime video, #BeckyG. As I said, they are related, got a very similar vibe from the Jersey Shore. So, you know, he's got a good look with the kind of the dyed front quiff, the pink glasses, the little pretentious goatee, the chain. For a promotion of California's wrestling organisation side, he's not bad. A cruiserweight, there are quite a few of them in this company. He's obviously one of them. His persona of being a cocky youth is very fitting, very in keeping with the whole Jersey Shore. I don't know, I can't stand the thing myself, but I thought a character from there wouldn't hurt, or two, if you're including #BeckyG. He's not excellent in any one area, but I think he'd get over with his look and personality at the very least. Lower mid-carder, I think that's fitting. His cousin's obviously lower down on the roster in Showtime, so I guess he's doing a little bit better in that respect. But Showtime is also a slightly bigger company, so you know, it's a balancing act, it's what you prefer. Move on to one of the first tag team competitors we'll come across, and that is Ashley Westfold. He's one half of the Frat House with his tag team partner Ted Alpha. We'll be seeing him a bit later on. And in fact, having said that, #Ronnie C would be a pretty good stable with Ashley Westfold and Ted Alpha, if that should ever happen. There aren't any stables at the start of the game for them. Certainly something that could be easy enough to implement. 28 years of age. Another theme with the CWO roster is they've got quite a lot of youngsters on there. And furthermore, actually, a bit of background on the CWO, I didn't actually cover this. The CWO was originally the developmental territory for the AWF. And for whatever reason, the ties were severed. I think it was a few years ago in game terms. And the owner of the CWO, or the guy who was behind booking the shows for the CWO, also parted with the AWF, and CWO carried on as its own independent identity, whereas the AWF then brought into existence the California Pro Wrestling Entertainment Company and used them as a developmental territory going forward. So anyway, as I was saying, the CWO have a lot of youngsters on their roster. Some of them have potential to go quite far, some of them don't, so that's up to opinion though, each to their own. Depends on how the game unfolds as to who goes where. But Ashley Westfold is one of the tag team competitors, and again the CWO have a fairly good tag team division. Nothing too exciting, they don't have lots of tag teams obviously given their relative size, but it's a serviceable division all the same. Move on now to Bradley Autenberry. Retired professional wrestler, heel announcer. He also does the Road of Road agency, which is very helpful because, as you will have seen in the, I think it was the 2CW video I did, there was no one that was automatically assigned the road agent position. I think that's an error. It's something I will look into and amend. But fortunately, we don't have this problem for episode number 6, so that's great. We'll move on from him to the champion, or the California Heavyweight Champion, who I think's got an undeniable it factor, and I'll tell you where I'd see him going should I be another promotion, and that is this man, the California Kid. Now, I think he's got a bit of everything. He's got charisma, he's got the workmanship in the ring, and he's young, so he's got potential to improve as well. Very deserving champion in this promotion, one of the better level competitors you'll see for a small promotion, without a shadow of a doubt. And as I was saying, if I was playing as the AWF in a long-term game and I was looking to expand the cruiserweight division or make it more prominent, or even if it was just, you know, bring another worker onto the roster, California Kid is certainly someone that I definitely have to consider bringing in. And unfortunately, if you're playing as the CWO, there's little you could do to stop that, because with the AWS $50 million in the bank, there's nothing that's going to stop them from doing exactly what they want as far as talent poaching. But fortunately for us, he is the champion. I will say that I've set up a couple of storylines for this. I haven't done it in the data, I've done it in this game itself. We've got California Kid who will be defending his title against Randall Crisp, a gentleman we'll see in not too long a time. And I've also set up a tag team title match between Heartbreak Inc. and the Muscle Beach Bad Boys. Again, we'll see them very shortly. But we'll move on now to the one-man brand, Chamberlain. Now, the interesting thing about Chamberlain is he was a former NBA player, basically. He didn't make it to the superstar level, but it was cut short, unfortunately. And, unexpectedly, he wasn't selected in the 2003 draft. So he had Sorry, I should really amend that statement. He had aspirations to be in the NBA. Good collegiate player, didn't pan out for him, but he had charisma, and of course, if you can't make it in one sport, you can apparently make it in pro wrestling. Not saying pro wrestling is a sport, but again, that's a debate for another time. I won't get involved into that. Chamberlain, I think he's one of my favourite characters in this promotion, and he'd be one of the 4 or 5 that would be a permanent fixture around the title scene. I think he's got quite an interesting gimmick. Obviously, the dual sport superstar thing going for him just oozes arrogance if you just look at his face, really. And he's got decent skills to kind of, you know, put on a passable show. So I'm quite happy with having him on the roster. Move now to Creighton Fall, who's the son of a famous lawyer who remains unnamed, but I'm assuming that his surname would also have been Fall, unless that's Creighton's stage name. Very good at talking, got the gift of the gab. As far as in-ring stuff, nothing special, but he is 27 years of age. Can definitely improve. Pay-per appearance, $706 per show. Mid-carder, heel, sport brat gimmick, which I think is quite interesting. Because quite often you see the cocky youths or those type of gimmicks, but with this one we've actually got a sport brat who's very much coming from the old money. His daddy's got it, you know, it's been built into him as a youngster to get a sense of entitlement, and I think that makes for a good wrestling gimmick, especially in the CWO. Moving on to my favourite character in this promotion, bar none. We have the perpetually thrust-in international stud muffin that is Dandy Love. One half of the tag team, known as Heartbreak Inc., as I mentioned earlier, they are in the tag team title feud for this save. 36 years of age, great talker, crap in ring, but look at that tub of love. How can you hate that? You can't hate it, that's what you can do. Nothing. Just nothing stopping this guy from taking over the world, apart from his age and skills. But he is great. Heavyweight as well, and there aren't many of them on this this roster. I think there are 2 big heavyweights, but they are part of a tag team. Whereas Dandy Love is just a big, blobby piece of shit, and we all love him. Go on, Dandy Love. Deontay Walker. Now, he's recently actually graduated the House of the Dawn. He's 24 years of age, and coming from a pedigree, the House of the Dawn being obviously the big heart dungeon, as it were, in the London verse. So I think he's got potential to pretty much go wherever he wants in the game world itself. I mean, he could go to Japan. Certainly anyone in the UK would take him. Canada, America, even Mexico, to be honest. I mean, he doesn't work the lucha style, but, you know, if you're that talented, I mean, I don't think it matters too much. At the moment, he's not at that stage. He's a happy-go-lucky character. In-ring stuff's pretty good, but not much in terms of charisma. He does have a very positive attitude, so it's good to have him backstage as well. He's one of my favourites. Move on now to Mr. Ernie Bennett, and he's just got a neck you want to just strangle. Look at that neck, very strangleable, which is a word I'm going to invent now. I see him being the colour commentator that continually cheers for the heels and supports their underhanded tactics, very much like Bobby the Brain Heenan. And, you know, I think he'd be quite entertaining behind the desk, 45 years of age. Not really too much to say about him in general, though. We'll move on to another one of the main eventers, and that is Eternal Summer. Now, what's interesting about Eternal Summer is the gimmick I was going for was almost akin to a Tyler Breeze in WWE. Now, at the time I put Eternal Summer in the game, I wasn't aware of Tyler Breeze's existence. I don't even know if Tyler Breeze was a thing at that time. That's how long this data's been in the working for. But I think the gimmick's pretty good, and I think it would work in this kind of level, or this kind of promotion where they promote mainstream wrestling. His in-ring stuff is pretty damn good. He is well, like I said, a main eventer, but he's an entertainer as well. So you'd expect him to be able to carry the microphone skills to take him to the next level. Well, not to the next level, because then that means that CWO would lose him. So from a selfish perspective, I hope he does, and I hope he sticks at this level. But he does have the potential to go on to bigger and better things. Now, Franklin Britt, who by design has the best physique in the game, big heavyweight, but the sculpted look as well, and almost bordering on the bodybuilder turned pro wrestler, which isn't particularly fantastic in my eyes anyway. But it serves the purpose of a good tag team, the Muscle Beach Bad Boys, and they are one half, or he is one half of the California Tag Team Champions. Not great in the ring. Brawling is his best trait. 34 years of age, so probably not likely to improve. But as you can see on the right hand side of the screen here, we've got star quality as A star. You can't get better than that. It has AWF written all over him, but I'm hoping that the AWF wouldn't bring him in purely because he doesn't really have anything in the ring to back it up. And from what I recall, his microphone and charisma skills aren't the best, so he's just the look and that's it. But great for this level. Harley Gosport. That's a shame because I like his tag team partner and the tag team that they're in, which is the Broskies. But I don't care for him at all, and I don't know what it is. He kind of has a goofy look on his face. There's something there I just don't particularly like. He's young enough to improve, but I don't think that's going to help him long term. You better hope he stays part of that tag team, because otherwise I don't know what his future would be in the company. Not that I'd necessarily let him go, but I don't think he'd go beyond, as you can see on the screen there, his status of opener. But again, serviceable in the tag team division, so that's great for what we want. Moving on, nothing more to say. Myself, James Avatar, moving on, not more to say. Now, Jinder Pradesh, the Punjab Prince, claiming to come from Indian royalty. Ravishing gimmick, so he thinks all the ladies will be falling off his arms. And falling off his arms, is that a thing? It is for Jinder Pradesh, we'll say that. Always liking to see himself wearing suits and smart clothing, looking at people down his nose, a bit snob-like. But he does have the ravishing gimmick. He's upper mid-carder. I wouldn't necessarily have him in a title feud right away, but he could easily be built up into being a title challenger, if not the title holder itself. So yeah, a pretty decent character, and I have to say the CWO in general does have a lot of characters that I do really like. Moving on to John Dyson, who, if I recall correctly, was one of the contestants in the AWF Your Voice, the managerial promotional contest that I held a while back. As you can see, he didn't make it to the AWF, but he did make it into the CWO, where he is the manager for the Muscle Beach Bad Boys, so he's got the lawyer gimmick, which could actually work with Creighton Fall, being that he's the son of a lawyer, but he's basically managing the tag team champions in the promotion, so he's done alright for himself. Managers at the moment are quite thin on the ground. It's something I'm looking to expanding pretty soon. Whether for free agents or actually putting them in the promotions, and just whether probably unassigned, and then let you guys decide what you want to do with them. Maybe I'll do another contest. Who knows what I'll do. But I want to keep you guys involved and, you know, in tune with what I'm thinking about doing with the data. Now move on now to, and it's before we come to the next guy, I will say it's very, very important, crucial in fact, that we pronounce his name Gianni. Okay, Gianni Cordola. Here we go. Gianni Cordola, Italian-American, got a good look about him, not great in the ring by any stretch of the imagination, but he is young enough to improve. Thinking about it, would make a pretty decent tag team gimmick-wise with hashtag Ronnie C. Troublemaker, so he goes backstage, or the gimmick is that he goes backstage with his big old paddle to stir the shit pot, get everyone in trouble, that's what we like. Just quite an interesting character. I like the bloke anyway. Move on now to the tag team partner of Mr. Dandy Love, and that is the other half of the Heartbreak Inc., La Di Da. Part-time Canadian male model, so he still works in that industry. The ambiguously gay character of La Di Da. Fantastic. I like the tag team of Heartbreak Inc., but possibly one of my favourite tag teams in the entire Londonverse data. I think they're quirky. Imagining them to wear a lot of pink and purple get-up. But I think the fag team, that's really unfortunate for anyone who's in the UK. because that is a slur on homosexual people, and that was not the intention. That was just a Freudian slip. Tag team is what I was trying to say. I'm not going to edit it out. Nothing to hide. Wasn't intentional. But we'll move on very quickly. Fantastic. I really do like the tag team. And for the first show, I'm going to be having them go up against the tag team champions, and we might see a title change, maybe. But first, to another tag team competitor, Levi Jagerbomb. He tag teams with, as we saw earlier, Harley Gosport, although I don't care for Harley Gosport. The Broski's tag team's pretty good. Fortunately, Levi's carrying it, 30 years of age, middleweight, lower mid-carder, rebel, serviceable for the division. I could see him potentially break out to be a single star, something to keep an eye on. Luke the Fluke Trussell, an underdog that keeps continuing to lose, but the crowd get behind him because he's just such a nice guy. I like to think of having a storyline with Trussell where he does get battered by pretty much everyone on the roster, but starts to pick up the fluky victory. And as such, we'll kind of get a bit of momentum, maybe all the way to a title match. Who knows? See how it'd have to get over with the audience, but I like the character, you know. You need the plucky underdog occasionally. And everyone loves an underdog. Now here we have one of the main eventers. He's a heel, and thinking about it, with the California Kid being the Californian heavyweight champion, there's a lot of heel competition to go up against. As far as the singles face side, there's not too much to speak about. I mean, you have the likes of, I think, Deontay Walker's face. You have a lot of face tag teams, but not too much in the way of just face workers that compete on a singles basis. Punk doesn't fit this criteria. He is a heel, but again, it gives a lot of opposition and a lot of choice for California Kid as far as rivalries. And Punk would be in that core of people that I could see mixing the title scene around with. So whether it's shifting title back and forth between him and the other members of the select few that I would put in the main event scene on an almost permanent basis. Very good for this level of promotion, and he is 28 years of age, so you'd hope that CWO could keep him around for a bit longer, but who knows? I mean, CWE could come in and take him, AWF could come in and take him, even the NWA in Canada could probably come in and take him. But let's hope we can, well, we've got him for the show because this is the day of the show, so I don't need to worry about that. Randall Crisp, the manliest man to ever lace up a pair of boots in the game. At least that's the gimmick. 38 years of age, so he's significantly older than pretty much everyone on the roster. But his in-ring ability is fantastic for this level. He's got pretty much a bit of everything. He's got chain wrestling, mat wrestling, submissions. His performance is good and his microphone's pretty decent. Star quality's okay. And I think it'd be good to keep him around the main event scene. If not for his staying power, because he's 38, but to pass on his experience and knowledge to some of the younger members of the roster. And as I said, there are quite a few of them, and as you've seen, there are quite a few of them. I like the guy, and he will be going in the main title match against the California Kid for the show that I'll be booking momentarily. Referee Tyreek Brown. Referee, no particular backstory. Move on. Sean Scott. Now this is the gentleman that booked the CWO when the AWF had them as the developmental group. Since the split, as I said, Sean Scott parted ways with the AWF to stick with something that he helped create, essentially. 52 years of age now. If it wasn't for me taking the role of ownership of the company, he would obviously still be in that role. Authority figure, I don't think he'd do particularly well in that, but as I said, that's not the role he'd normally fill. But again, good character to have. Ted Alpha, the other half of the tag team, the Frat House, with Ashley Westfold. I prefer the guy's render. I think the skill sets are pretty much on a par with Ashley. I'd have to go into the minutiae of that to have a look at who exactly is better in those terms, but I think the tag team's pretty decent. 31 years of age, so, you know, he'll do alright for himself, and he is a cruiserweight, which there are quite a few of, as I said, in the promotion, so that certainly is a tick in Ted Alpha's box. And finally, the other half of the tag team champions, Troy the Man-Beast Bellow. Now, Troy Bellow is a bigger guy. I have him in my head slightly bigger than Franklin Britt size-wise, even though they are both big heavyweights, don't get me wrong. But I don't see him as sculpted as Franklin Britt, but yeah, a mid-carder, heel, bully gimmick. John Dyson is the manager. Not good in the ring at all, not particularly good as far as interviews, but he's got the kind of the physical, the or factor, I guess, just an imposing dude, really. And that is really all he's needed for. So, as a singles competitor, nothing would come of him, I wouldn't have thought. But, you know, each to their own. So that is an overview of the CWO roster. Again, it's a small promotion, so it's not the biggest, but it has more than enough talent there to not need to bring anyone in, but obviously you can do that. We will have a look. The storylines I've already told you about, so I don't actually need to click on that screen. As I said, we have California Kid going up against Randall Crisp for the CWO title, and the tag team title match of the Heartbreak Inc. going up against the Muscle Beach Bad Boys, who are the defending champions. Those would be two matches that we'll put on the show. It's a 2-hour show, but with what we've got, that's serviceable. I think that'll be fine. But we'll have a look at the titles, just to get the title belts on there, because I think they deserve their credit. Again, the title work was produced by the fantastic Mr. MJ Stark, so hats off to you on this one, sir. Great title belts for California Kid, like you see the singles title. And the tag team title, voila. Again, the reigns and the dates that are on the titles, this will all be amended. It's being worked on in the background as I speak. Literally as I speak. I have the minions at work, because I am the master of puppets. Right, have a look at the tag teams, shall we? Okay, there are 5 tag teams. I obviously missed one there. Be interested. Well, it's the Midnight Experience. Not entirely sure who comprises of that team. It would have said in the bios, but again, I wanted to look into your soul, as the usual gimmick that I seem to be doing on these videos goes. Heartbreak Inc. They will be potentially winning the tag team titles in this show. Muscle Beach Bad Boys. Boyser. That's a typo. We'll change that in the data afterwards. Save. Thank you. Don't know why I did it there. There's no point. Anyway, the Broskis, the Frat House, and the Midnight Experience. That does make sense. Hashtag Ronnie C and Chamberlain. Okay. So we do have quite a nice tag team division, actually. And we'll have a look at the creative meeting, so a bit of the backstage stuff. And these are the 4 people I would have expected to be at the top of the class, as it were. Randall Crisp, California Kid, Punk and Eternal Summer, the franchise players. Next big thing is probably going to be no one, and that is the case. Hot prospects. Oh, that's a great list. Deontay Walker, Lardy Dar, Creighton Full, Luke Trussell and Ashley Westfold. Top 3 and Luke Trussell I'm happy about. Ashley Westfold I'm not convinced by, but here to be proven wrong. Talk the talk. Creighton Full, John Dyson, Dandy Love and Punk. Brilliant. Showstoppers none. Probably be no ring generals either, and there aren't. Who's hot? Probably no one, knowing my luck. No one's hot. Who's not? Everyone. Hashtag Ronnie C, Eternal Summer, Ted Alpha, Gianni, Cordola and Creighton Full. I'm glad I didn't put Eternal Summer in the main event then. Time decline. No one. Oh, brilliant. So Randall Crisp, although he's 38 years of age, isn't on the time decline list. That's fantastic. And Hidden Gems, who just basically produce people that are on the independent scene. Again, this is being fleshed out. So we've got El Bestia Salvaje, Cerberus, Levi Tundra, Ian Stout and Samoan Stud. Right, so close that. And now we'll go to actually booking the show. You're welcome, people. Jesus Reyes, CWE worker. Minimise the screen. That is fine. The Lucky Dog Casino will work. We will then maximise this bad boy back up. And Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. Here we are. 60 rating backstage. It's not great. Quite a lot of positive influences. That's nice. Yeah, that's okay. The backstage rules are having a negative effect overall. I'm not going to worry myself too much about that because it's only one show and who gives a shit. Right, so we'll start setting up the matches. And as I said, I wanted to have the title match of California Love, I nearly said. California Kid going up against Randall Crisp. Save. Auto name. And this will go... I know it probably shouldn't be able to go that long, Randall Crisp, but I want to give them their due. Let's see how far they can take this. There's no road agent assigned. We already know that the road agent is going to be... What's his nuts? Bradley Waterbury. Come on, people. He can do the announcing and road agent work. Don't be so prickish. Right. Change. I'll also put the title on the line in a sec. California Kid will win. Loser will be Randall Crisp. It will be an open match. It will not be called in the ring, scripted. And we'll go with a pinfall finish. Send the fans home happy in California. And I didn't put the title on the line. As I said I would, only a moment ago. So save. And Davy Dozy. We'll put the tag team title on the match. Tag team title on the match. No. Tag team title on the line is what we'll do. And here we see... Oh, terrible momentum, but small company, can't be helped. Muscle Beach Bad Boys over there. Save. Auto name. This can't go long, but I'm still going to make it go 12 minutes. Titles up for grabs, thank you. Bradley Altenberry. Come on, Brad. Altenberry, Automotive System, whatever your name is. We want it to be a Dandy Love win all day long, thank you. Loser will be Franklin Britt, because I'm not fussed. Open match though, I don't want to bury the champs. Scripted for Shizzle. That's how I talk, apparently. That's all we'll put down as far as notes. That will definitely not go on after the main event. Otherwise that would be itself the main event. Right, let's see what other matches we can put on here. We'll get dinged for the storylines being set up in-game and not having momentum right away, but that's to be expected with these videos. Well, for the ones that don't have starting storylines anyway. Right, who do we want on here? We'll put Eternal Summer in a match. He's a main eventer after all. And we'll have him go over Luke Trussell. Lucky Luke. Auto name. 8 minutes. We want Bradley. I don't know why it's not automatically going with him as the road agent, because I have put that he does road agent work for the company. Maybe it's something I have to assign in the roster bit at the beginning of the data itself. It's not too much of a problem. He will... Not well, obviously we're going to have Eternal Summer in. No, scripting. I'll even go for an all-out match, why not? Save. That will definitely go on before the tag team titles even. We want to get another decent match on there, hopefully, because I think there aren't good. The show rating isn't going to be great, let's be honest. Chamberlain I like, Deontay Walker I like. Punk. Punk is better. There's not really a foil face for him. That'll be something that'll be interesting to balance, because it's very top heavy in terms of heels. I might have him go up against Deontay Walker. Well, I am going to, because I've already done it. This will be... We'll let him go 11 minutes. Punk's going to win. When I select him, selected him. Force of habit. Deontay Walker will lose. I'll have an open match. Be scripted. And we'll leave it at that. We want Bradley to do the road agent work. I might even have that go on after the tag team title match, I think I will. Don't think that anything's going to particularly save it. Need a couple of angles in there, but I'll get another tag team match and then I'll work my way through some angles. So a couple of the teams that have been unassigned at this point. So the Frat House are healed, the Midnight Experience are healed. So I think I'll put the Midnight Experience in a match against the Broskis. Right. And I think this will be the match that I'll let the computer decide. So that'll go 10 minutes. I think that is too long, but I'm going to leave it as that. So don't set anything, just make sure that we've got the road agent doing his job. There we go, save. We'll let that be the second match just before the tag team title match. And we'll put some angles in the show now. So, We'll have Creighton Fall guest on the card doing some talking, hyping himself up. So it'll be a singles promo, not directed at anyone. So generic. He's not popular with the crowd, so don't get me wrong, I'm not expecting a good result here in terms of grade rating. But let's give him a chance, get him on the card, he's not in a match. Let that go 4 minutes. We'll have that very early in the show though, don't worry. I might even set up a kind of match between Creighton Fall and Luke Trussell, so we'll have Creighton Fall come out, cut a promo, gets interrupted by Luke the Fluke Trussell just coming out saying, "Go away, no one cares about you." And then have Eternal Summer come out shortly thereafter, jump him and beat the living piss out of him. So let's put another angle in. We will have a tag team celebration because we've got new tag team champions, that's fine. Rated on entertainment, so these two should be pretty damn good. Dandy Love. La-di-da. Let that go 5 minutes. Save. So I'll put that just after their match, otherwise it doesn't make sense. We want to break free, but first we want to put an angle in. We'll have Eternal Summer cut a promo as well, and I think we'll have California Kid cut a promo as well. That should cover us on that. So promo, singles. So we'll have California Kid. We'll have Eternal Summer. We'll let that go 5. I think we might have one after the other for this. So we'll put that there. No, we'll split it up. But we're still going to have the same promo idea, I haven't changed my mind on that. Here we go. Get Eternal Summer. Get California Kid. Also name. Again, let that go 5 minutes. We will then push this segment back to just before the Midnight Experience take on the Broskies. Makes sense after Eternal Summer's match, him cutting loose on wait, what? Randall Crisp, that's who I meant. Randall Crisp. There we go. Rename it so I don't get confused. Nearly got away from me, that one, nearly. Two people talking about each other that aren't even competing, it's pretty epic. Let's change that. And we should be golden. Need to book 2 more minutes to proceed. Let's have another little match on there. We'll get some of the odds and sods on the card who aren't otherwise appearing. Jinder Pradesh. Yeah, that's right, I said it correctly. I think they're all heels. They are all heels. Okay. It's going to be a cluster, but we'll do it. And Creighton. So that's going to go 7 minutes. I think I might let them go all out as well. I don't particularly care. Well, no, I do. I have Jinder Pradesh win. Loser, I don't care. Open match. Yeah. That, all out. Yeah, we'll let them go all out. Not particularly fussed. Okay, what do I click? Oh, that's fine. Scripting, that's what next click. And we'll save that and have that go on first of all. Now this show isn't going to be great, as I said. 97 minutes is fine. I could pad it out with more, but it fills the criteria for what the fans would expect. And, you know, there's no need to pad it out with anything extra at this point. I'm happy with that. Let's save and hope the London effect does not come into fruition. Come on. We were lucky last time. Let's see if we can be lucky again, yeah? Are you sure? I'm dead sure. All heels. In a match that had, well, I'll first of all say that the show's got 500 people at the Lucky Dog Casino. In a match that had an average crowd reaction but featured terrible wrestling, Jinder Pradesh defeated Gianni Cordola and Creighton Fall in 6 minutes 32 when Jinder Pradesh defeated Johnny Cordola by pinfall. Gianni? Yeah, that's right. Cordola by pinfall with a presidential suite. Worker notes, that was wank. Creighton Fall cuts a backstage promo. In a match that had an average crowd reaction but featured terrible wrestling, Eternal Summer defeated Luke Trussell in 7 minutes 50 by pinfall with an autumnal dawn. Eternal Summer seemed off his game tonight. The bout dragged in the middle with a lack of flow being noticeable. Yeah, screw it. It's a small promotion, to be fair. Randall Crisp cuts a promo hyping up his upcoming match with California Kid. Happy days. And we come crashing back down to earth. In an awful match that was completely devoid of heat, the Midnight Experience defeated the Broskis in 10 minutes 10 when Ronnie C defeated Harley Gosport by pinfall with a Wanna Bang Bro. California Kid ups the ante with a promo hyping his upcoming match with Randall Crisp. E+. In a bout that had a good crowd but featured terrible wrestling, Heartbreak Inc. defeated Muscle Beach Bad Boys in 11 minutes 57 when Dandy Love defeated Franklin Britt by pinfall with a Love Bomb. Heartbreak Inc. win the CWO California Tag Team titles. Fantastic. Troy Bellow and John Dyson have excellent chemistry together. It's a shame Dandy Love seemed off his game tonight, but we'll let you go, you scamp. The bout dragged in the middle with a lack of flow being noticeable. The MBBBB, which I call the storyline, has continued. Hey, fantastic. Heartbreak Inc. come down to the ring, which has been set up for a celebration. They show off the new titles to the crowd enjoying the moment, but in reality they just celebrate winning the titles in general. In a match that had an average crowd reaction but featured terrible wrestling, Punk defeated Deontay Walker in 11 minutes 28 by submission with a complete control. I was hoping that was going to be a bit better than that, but well. Beggars can't be choosers at this level. But there we go, I'm relatively happy with that for a main event. In a bout that had a good crowd and some decent in-ring action, California Kid defeated Randall Crisp in 17 minutes 48 by pinfall with a Sunshine State. California Kid makes defense number 1 of his CWO California Heavyweight title. As predicted, Randall Crisp was visibly tiring towards the end, but the match did lift the crowd. Best match of the night, that's the way you should finish a show ideally. Probably improved our ratings. Oh no, it didn't. This show... Oh no, it did, sorry, misread that entirely. I saw the D and then read creased from the increased bit and read decreased as a result. The show has increased our popularity in one region. I'm happy with that. The London effect didn't really bite us on this one, so that was very nice. Made a nice change for me, certainly. So yeah, that is the California Wrestling Organisation. Again, it was a new promotion for you guys to have a look at, see what you felt. Had a look at the entire roster, went through, even did a show. Thank you very much for watching, first of all. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did like the video, please if you hit that like button and subscribe down there. And I'll see you next time for episode 8, where we'll be covering the Oriental Fight Club. Thanks for stopping by, guys.